Hi everyone, it's meteorologist Swails here, and it is Wednesday, and this of course is your Wednesday weather briefing on a hump day. Everybody humping it here in the Midwest. And weather-wise, we've got some much better weather conditions as high pressure has moved off to the east of us, that big Arctic high, and that switched the winds in from the southwest, and we're starting to warm the temperatures up out there. And this is a trend that's going to continue right on into the upcoming weekend. Our next storm is expected to roll across Iowa, a very typical track for this time of year. The cold air will be to our northwest, and we'll get into the warm sector of the storm, and we're anticipating highs to be well up in the 60s by Sunday afternoon as the storm moves on across the Midwest. It does have the potential to produce some significant rains. Still kind of determining where that will be, but this map off the European here shows very significant rains from central and northeastern Iowa up into southwestern Wisconsin. In the Quad City area, about an inch of precip, but there's some spots northwest of us showing about 2 inches of rain. And it does look like it should be a fairly widespread rain. Many parts of Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Missouri, maybe southeastern Minnesota getting in on a fairly significant event. Now the GFS just in this morning, not quite as bullish on the rain totals. It's a little quicker, has a little less moisture, but it still shows some nice rains falling through eastern Iowa and Illinois and up into Wisconsin. Not a lot of snow with this system, though. The temperature's just not going to be cold enough to support it, but there may be some up in Minnesota and parts of northwestern Wisconsin. And as the system rolls on by, much colder air should spread some snow showers back across much of the rest of Iowa and Illinois as we get towards Sunday night or early Monday morning. Another cold shot of air coming in behind this weather system. However, as it rolls through Iowa, look what it's going to do for the temperatures. You can see a swath of 70s from near Chicago there back down to St. Louis on Sunday. And this is showing readings in the upper 60s as close as the Quad Cities here. And then, of course, temps really fall off quickly on the other side of the storm where the cold sector is up in Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. But we should have a good warm-up around many parts of the Midwest as the storm comes on through on Sunday. And then after that, it gets cold again for early next week. Another mean stab of cold air. And we're going to take this a little bit further and show you what we're talking here on the NAO, the AO, and the PNA, and those signals and what it means for our long-range forecasts. And the NAO, which has been in a positive phase here, is expected to go negative and stay there for quite some time. As you can see, we're going into December there, and that's a cold phase. That brings cold temperatures when everything else is set up just right. And it certainly looks like as we go to the AO here, that's going to go strongly negative too. So when you get those two in a negative phase, you're looking at some cold air moving into the country, particularly if you have the PNA off to the west of us setting up in the right position. And it sure looks to me like that's going to go into a positive phase, or at least neutral. And so that gets you a block to build up there in Greenland. And that's the thing we look for cold air to be delivered to the United States. And I am definitely anticipating that in the days ahead. Now, again, you can see how the PNA there goes from its positive phase to a little bit of a neutral, I guess is probably the best thing to say. But it certainly would be supportive of cold temperatures. And look at the long-range outlook here as we go through November. For the rest of the month, we're anticipating below normal temperatures from the Pacific Northwest across the Midwest and into the east central United States. And now, off our models here, we're also looking at December, and this goes out through the 28th of the month. And look at the cold air that's over the eastern two-thirds of the country. If everything works out the way we're seeing it here, first half of December looks like it could certainly be a little bit on the chilly side. So those are some of the indicators that we look for in our long-range forecast, and they are definitely trending towards the cold side of things today. And that is your weather briefing for this Wednesday. Hope you enjoy your hump day, and as always, roll weather.